cackling at the same line. Karen, stop being a Karen. He said that to Karen back. Oh, man. Now listen. So speaking of our people, if you've been watching the show for a while now, you know that we like to talk to activists from different parts of the country. And in Los Angeles, we have a great relationship with the radicals of the People's City Council of Los Angeles, right? And we've had Ricci Sergienko on the show a number of times. Turns out, gang, Ricci Sergienko actually made the news. Now, we're going to come back and talk about this through the lens of, again, the way that leftists are covered in media outlets generally. And well, anyway, no, I'm not going to pick it apart as of yet. I just want you guys to check this out because I appreciate the work that People's City Council does and the work that Ricci does specifically, because Ricci uses his straight white manness and gets in the police's shit, okay? And I'm like, yes, Ricci, if you go to use the white privilege, use that white privilege and tell these cops to fuck off. Like, that's what I'm talking about. And do even more and go beyond that. But that is an excellent start. Franny French, thank you so much, Franny French. You're so kind. You're so generous to us, Franny French. Franny French says, I am her favorite PG County person, Kim Brown, which, if you're familiar with PG County, that actually says quite a bit because there's a lot of notable Negroes floating around Prince George's County. Freddie French, we love you so much. Thank you so much for that. Guys, check out this clip from Spectrum News. This aired this week, the roundabouts, a couple of days ago. And let's check out this, I would call it a fair piece. But I'll let you guys be the judge. This is from Spectrum News, Los Angeles, and it's about our good friend, Ricci Sergienko.
Let's talk about this civic discourse. Mr. Buscaino.
If you've watched a debate,
LA doesn't want a billionaire as mayor, Rick.
A press conference,
Define those subpoenas from the Civilian Oversight Committee,
or a town hall in LA lately where things went off the rails, then you've already heard the voices of Jason Reedy and Ricci Sergienko, left-wing organizers dedicated to disrupting the status quo.
Revolutionary. Abolitionist, revolutionary.
Radical?
Sure, I could be labeled as radical.
talking all that the screen, bro.
They called this bird dogging, hounding city officials, and LMU's debate that aired live on Spectrum was no exception.
Hey.
With Sergienko erupting into an expletive-laden rant when the candidates were asked about expanding LAPD.
Pro-cop, anti-unhoused campaign.
That wasn't just a chaotic situation. That was extremely well planned and organized, and we knew what we were doing.
The outbursts are designed to get mainstream media attention and go viral, where Sergienko's account, the People's City Council, gets hundreds of thousands of views from like-minded followers.
The most popular tweet of the night was of Matios Kandane from Stop LAPD Spying, a black activist who was shouted down and booed by a crowd of white liberal elites.
Your idea of safety is contingent upon the death of black people like me. These people are booing black and brown people that you're meant to advocate for.
The activists are so ubiquitous, calling into city meetings.
Hi, yes, this is Ricci Sergienko from People's City Council.
And showing up at events.
Why are you covering up the murder of Andres Gerardo?
Everyone, a round of applause for Ricci, who is leaving the building.
Councilmember Joe Buscaino's team says they are a part of his mayoral campaign strategy to show a city out of control.
This is clearly out of hand. We have our First Amendment rights that we embrace, but at the same time, the First Amendment right does not give you a right to disrupt and be an idiot.
Undeterred by critics, they see themselves as digital revolutionaries, fighting a white supremacist police state. And while Sergienko, who is also a licensed attorney, is confrontational, he says he stays within the bounds of free speech.
We currently engage in non-violent demonstrations and protests, yes.
Reedy became serious about activism after the George Floyd uprising in 2020. Nearly 2 years later, he's still in the street.
I think being black in America radicalized me.
On Tuesday, he called out frontrunner Congresswoman Karen Bass, a former community organizer herself.
Karen, stop being a Karen! A lot of different members of my community have been trying to call her in for many months. And so I felt that she needed to be called out because, and the reason why I said Karen, stop being a Karen, is because Karen Bass is prioritizing white feelings and white comfort over Black lives.
Okay.
On stage, Bass lamented the state of discourse in American politics.
This is one of the reasons why I decided actually not to run again and to come home, because I've been so concerned about the level of discourse here, right in Los Angeles.
Alex, you're a f***ing punk, bro. You're a punk. Show us your f***ing tats.
2 days later, Sergienko and Ricci were at it again, disrupting Sheriff Alex Villanueva's town hall in Brentwood. As to where they'll be next,
Expect us.
wherever the candidates go, they'll be making a scene.
Justice for Paul Breyer!
Franny French, I'm in here cackling at the same line. Karen, stop being a Karen. He said that to Karen Bass. Oh man. Now listen, there's a lot of things there in that package, and we appreciate the reporting. I believe that was Kate Cagle of Spectrum News LA. Kate does a decent job as TV station reporters go. But what are you guys' thoughts about that piece? I thought it was pretty fair. I thought that it did a decent job of accurately representing the kind of activism, or at least it didn't get into the nuts and bolts, because what Ricci does when he calls up the city council meetings and he calls up, when Sheriff Villanueva opens up the phones, like, he is bringing the heat to these people, right? He is asking them questions that impact the least of Los Angelinos, right? He's asking about the unhoused people and the sweeps, getting rid of the encampments, like, where are these people being moved to? He cares obviously a lot about Black lives, Black and brown lives. He is like, I don't know who in Los Angeles political power that Ricci and his crew does not bring that fucking ruckus to. And listen, if you follow People's City Council long enough, they will go to niggas' houses, right? They post up outside of these city council people's homes and make a lot of noise and cause a disruption. And you know what? That's exactly what we need white people to do. Now, we need white people to do a lot of things, but being a source of antagonism to the white power structure, I think, is very important, in doing things to disrupt that and to call attention to the ways that marginalized communities are subjugated by the police, by the political elites, by the wealthy 1%ers of Los Angeles. I dig that shit. Okay, like, I do, and I appreciate that. And did it come to a surprise to anyone else to learn that Ricci is a licensed attorney? What? What? Had no idea. Did not know Ricci was a whole ass lawyer out here. So I wanted to say, number one, Ricci Sergienko and the People's City Council are friends of Burn It Down with Kim Brown. Ricci's been on the show lots of times. So I was glad to see a piece about him be positive, or a piece about the work that they do be positive. Because if you guys recall, this had to have been last summer or towards the end of last summer, where I think it was Villanueva, or it might have been another Los Angeles sheriff's deputy, that Ricci was out at, I think, Venice Beach, and jumped in this cop shit, and it was glorious. And that shit went viral, and Ricci got lots of death threats from all the Nazi cops across the country, and he still remains undeterred, and I respect that. So, John Brown Brigade, they are always looking for new members. If you want to be down with the brown and the black, hey, at least be willing to consider to take the extra steps that Ricci Sergienko takes. And let me be clear, Ricci has a lot of protection in his skin color, in he's an attorney. I'm assuming Ricci's of a decent class. In his maleness, in his heterosexuality, like, he has a lot of protection there, right? So that's what we want. We want people who have a lot of protection to go out there and talk a lot of shit to the powerful people and do it as an advocate and as a comrade for those of us who will get met with police violence if we get up in the police face and start talking a lot of shit. If we show up to the people, to the city council member's house and talk a lot of shit, like the black people are going to feel the brunt of that may not be felt as harshly by whites. So yes, all that shit. Thank you. Shout out to Ricci Sergienko. Shout out to Ppls City Council. We appreciate the work that you guys do.